Okay, good morning, everybody. You're very welcome. Fergus Dolan here from NALA. I'm joined by my colleague, Aoife Martin, and we're delighted to have Alison Jones and Aoife Fitzsimons facilitating today on the webinar, Pump Up the Volume, Empowering Students Through Digital Expression. So I'll hand you over to Aoife and Alison. All the best.
Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you all. And I see there's some familiar names out there. And I know it's a kind of a grey day outside, but our title promises to pump up the volume. So although it may be quiet and fairly calm right now, by the end, we'll have covered quite a lot. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with the PowerPoint just to go through the background of what we're talking about first. I hope you've got mobile phone handy as well, or some second device, because we have a little activity for you shortly. But I'm going to share my screen now. And Aoife, you might just give me a thumbs up if that's good.
Perfect, awesome.
Perfect.
That's good.
Great. Okay, so pump up the volume, empowering students through digital expression. So let's have a look and see. So we'll just go through a short presentation this morning, very short, looking at what makes a successful online learner and what makes a successful online creator and communicator. And then we're going to show you an active Padlet that we have from our own students, entitled Voices from Around the World. And we'll invite you to feed into that one. And then we'll have our own activity related to all of this and then feedback. So a fairly straightforward session this morning. But we're going to start with a Mentimeter activity, if that's okay. So if you have your mobile phones handy or another screen on your PC, you can hold up your phone to capture the QR code and simply turn on your camera and just allow your camera, without taking a photo, to hover over the QR code. And it should take you directly then to the Mentimeter activity. However, if you'd rather just use your PC, just put in the Menti code or click on click on the link in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to now do a new share and move over to the Menti screen. Okay, and we should be able to see that. Is that visible there, Aoife?
Oh yeah, perfect. And I can see people have started already. That's excellent.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, home. I love that. I'm at home. Home in Meath, Galway City, Galway.
Oh, excellent.
Very good. We had a lot from Donegal in our last session, and Donegal dominated the board. But this morning,
home is the place of choice.
Yes, I suppose, you know, it's a grey day, and home is a good place to be, even with your cat there. Sligo, Dunmore East, that's great.
Excellent.
And Kilkenny. Terrific. So I can see that from my screen that we have 15 entries so far, and we have about 26 participants this morning. So excluding ourselves, we're looking for about 22 responses there.
Yeah.
We've got 17 so far, so just a handful of others. So Donegal is there, great.
There we go. Kilkenny.
Killarney. Okay. Somebody said okay.
Okay.
Terrific. Anyone who's not had a chance, just put in your home base where you are. I think we have one or two entered the
very good. So we see Killarney is featuring here as well.
Yeah.
The words that are in the biggest font are the ones that are entered most frequently. So home is the most frequent one. So that's where everyone is. And Killarney is coming in as a good second there.
We've got 18 now. Yeah, Killarney is a good second. Right, I think 18, that's only 4 short. And there's going to, whoever has just arrived, and as you go on, we've got a few more slides for you. And the code is always at the top. So if you come in late or you haven't yet joined the Menti, see the code menti.com, and you can use that code that's on the top of the screen there. It's 1383 330. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide now. And similar question, but where would you like to be? And you don't need to say work for this one. You can choose any location in the world, or even down the road, anything you would like to do. See what you think. New Zealand, top of the top.
Oh, Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. This is going to feature, so remember where you put, this is going to feature in a little while. In my mammy's house. Great.
Aw.
That's nice.
Well, a couple there for New Zealand.
Yeah, New
A
Zealand
sunny
featured in
beach.
our last as well, doesn't it? St. Finian's Bay, brilliant.
Oh, lovely.
Wow, they come rushing in now.
Next year. I like that one.
Next. Very witty.
With my daughters. This is lovely.
Yeah, and with my
Yeah.
daughter as well. That I hear you. Australia, New Zealand is definitely the favourite so far.
Yeah.
On a sunny,
Valencia.
yeah, Valencia. Keep those votes coming in. Okay, we've come to a bit of a slowdown. I'll just give you another few seconds there. So once you put in your location, you hit the enter and it will appear on our screen.
Mhm.
Sorry, where do I put it in?
Have you gone to the code? Have you put in your code?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you see the question on your phone? Or
yeah,
on-
I see the question. Yeah.
Right. You should be able to type it in somewhere there. If you scroll down, maybe.
No.
There should be a little box that appears in the middle of your phone screen. And if you tap into that box, you can start typing in. It should bring up the keyboard on the phone.
No, I must have done it wrong from the very beginning. Sorry. It's
Don't-
okay. It's
don't
in.
Don't worry.
No, don't worry, because if you try it now, the next few questions are not to tap in or to type in. They're just to simply to tap on an answer. So if you would like to keep going, Julia, don't give
Yeah,
up.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Keep going. Right, we have 16 of you now. And I think universally, we would like to be somewhere far away, mostly, well, mostly, and at least with relatives. Okay, with my mum at the beach. There we go. That's a great one. Okay, I'll move on to the next one now. The next one is a question related to our activity today. And we'd like to know overall, what percentage of your time is spent engaging in remote learning? Massive.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's great. We've got a good spread there. The majority is 75 to 100%. Very interesting.
There we go. The 50 to 75 is coming up too, but the majority definitely 75 to 100.
Yeah, that's huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We do seem to be engaged much more in this lockdown than the previous lockdown in remote learning. And I'll move on then to the next slide. Okay. Everyone had a chance to have a go. I'm going to move on to the next one then, which is tied into this one. It says, and what tools are you using? So I'm just going to ask you to use the main tool that you're using here. And it will cross-reference really to see those of you who are mostly engaged in remote learning.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what you're mostly engaged using.
That's interesting. There's a lot using Zoom.
Yeah. Zoom is, and amongst those of you who are doing it 75 to 100% of the time, Zoom is your go-to tool. And as well, interestingly, for the 15% to the 30%, I know some ETBs do not favor Zoom, but we have a great take-up of Zoom in our ETB. I think our stats would feature pretty similar to that.
And there's some coming in on the chat there as well. So a lot of Teams and Google Classroom, Zoom.
Yeah.
Coming in their Teams again. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, look at that. So Teams and Zoom are the two keys, anyway, two key favorites. With Zoom a winner by one. Okay, right. I'm going to stop sharing that now, but that will be open for you to feed into during the morning if you want to. I'm just going to go back to our PowerPoint now and move into here. Okay, so you can see that again now, my Mentimeter activity. Okay, so let's just have a little look now what we're talking about this morning. Clearly from that short slide, that short quiz that you did with Mentimeter, digital provision is featuring in most of you 75 to 100% of the time. And this trend is undoubtedly not going to go away, because what we're looking at here is just a snapshot of the literacy strategy for 2020 to 2024, which has a high digital focus, as you can see. And I just want to draw your attention to the digital focus there. And I'll just bring down my annotate spotlight here. Hang on. Here, embed digital literacy and capability as a core part of literacy and numeracy support to address the digital divide. Even half of this chart, if I was to show it, features a digital focus. And you can see that even when the pandemic is over, this is going to be a key part of what we teach and how we teach. I've also done a very quick quote here from a document which is about a new vision for FET in 2020, and digitalization features clearly. And I just took out one quote there. It says there is an increasing need for digital literacy and critical thinking for learners as well as workers. We're certainly finding more and more people are doing interviews online. The online environment is becoming very prevalent in lots of things that we do now. And so it's obvious that we do have to pump up the volume as we describe it. We're going to have to look at engaging our learners creatively, but also, of course, for everyday life. Right, I'm going to move on. So we're looking then at a scenario where we are digital citizens in a digital world, and the world has transformed, and education similarly has undergone a digital transformation. So following on from that, students need to become active digital citizens, learning to manage tools and communicate. So this is an important aspect for all of us now. And we've got a few activities to show you how we can do this, and a few ideas of how we can take it further. How do we pump up the volume, as I've said here on the slide? And I'm going to pass over now to Aoife, who's going to take you through the next couple of slides.
So what's really important for us, in particular in the fact that we've entered into this sort of digital world and the digital transformation of education, is to make sure that our students have the abilities and the confidence to be able to participate in this digital world. And this starts small. So the idea is that we always think big, we always think global, but we have to start small. So in order to make our students comfortable with technology and comfortable with expressing themselves in a digital world, we have to kind of revert to small stages of making sure that our learners can use the technology and making sure that our learners are comfortable in how they express themselves. I suppose one of the caveats is that because we're in a digital world, we do leave a footprint. So making sure that learners have these skills from the small steps leading up to the larger forms of expression is really, really important. So think big, but start small is the first one. And the next one then is that we need to empower our students. So we do need to make them confident in what they do. So building this kind of culture of expression through digital media is allowing them to develop skills, to transfer their skills, and also to cultivate this culture of expression. So if you want to move on there, yeah.
Yep.
So what makes a successful online learner? So meaningful dialogue rather than other kinds of tracking systems. So if you are working with your learners in this digital environment, giving them a chance to actually express themselves and giving that kind of feedback, getting that conversation going, rather than just kind of ticking the boxes. It's really important to prepare students for the online environment. As Alison said in a previous slide, you know, there's lots of things that are happening now online. Interviews are happening online. How people are communicating is happening online. So all of those small steps in building and empowering people and making people confident is just really, really important. So it's also about enabling the use of their own devices. So about making sure that people are comfortable using what device they have, and also making sure that people have access to devices. And again, these address the barriers of the digital divide. Now, one way that we have been working with students is to develop a kind of a process where students start making their stories, or kind of giving their personal stories in terms of digital storytelling. So sharing learner stories can be a really, really powerful way to get people to start conversing with each other and to get people to start interacting with each other in this kind of online environment. So we have a couple of programs that we've been working on. But before we do that, the learner voice that has really come back to us is that learners like to get feedback. So they don't want to feel that they're participating in a kind of a one-way track of communication. They like to get feedback. They like to know that they're interacting. So what's been really powerful for us is supportive tutors who go in and do check on the learner's progress, but also who actually allow the learners to have that freedom of expression. So what is it that the learner wants to articulate? And sometimes it's really powerful in these live projects to start from where the learner is. What do they want to express? What's their personal story? Where have they come from? And again, all of this builds confidence in using the tools. And again, what's really important for the learner is small steps. So not to let the learner off too much, you know, but to keep it kind of timely, well supported, so that at each stage, the learner is getting those skills that they need to move on to the next stage, you know, as a precursor to this digital expression. Now, I think we have our, yep. So you'll see now we have an exercise that we're going to do, and it is on a piece of software called Padlet. So how you can access this is if you get your mobile phone again and open your camera. If you kind of move the phone in, over the QR code, you'll see that the frame comes over the QR code and you'll be able to open Padlet. So that's if you're on a device. If you are on a desktop or a laptop, you can click on the link that's in the chat and that will open Padlet in a new window for you. So scan the QR code if you're on a device, or click on the link in the chat if you're on a desktop. So this is a live project that we worked on with students, and what we asked our students to do was embed their stories. We have them on YouTube, but we've asked them to embed their stories on a digital map, and the digital map is one of the things that we can use through PowerPoint, right, or through Zoom.
Right, I'm going to stop sharing that, Aoife, and then hand over to you for your screen.
Brilliant. I was wondering why the share screen wasn't working there. Okay, lovely. Okay, so if I click on this now, what you should see is a lovely map open up in front of you. Okay, now what you can do is you can give me a thumbs up, either physically or using the reactions, if you can see that. Brilliant.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So this is Padlet. And what you can see here is you can see a world map, and on the map you can see certain pins that have been popped in. So what we did with our students is we created digital stories with our students. We asked them to put them on YouTube. And then what we did was we asked them to put their locations in on the map. And I'm going to show you one from Mumbai. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to hear this. Bit of music to get you dancing. So you can see here that the student has sort of written a little backdrop about where they are, but they've also used images and pictures from Google. Okay, very good. And this one is about coming to Ireland. I'm getting into the music.
I know. And when they get to Ireland, then the music turns into Irish music. We have a complete culture change. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
And this particular story was how the learner hadn't actually intended to come to Ireland in the first place, but it just happened. So it's just a lovely way for them to express their own personal story. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to get you to engage a little bit on this Padlet map. So if you all have it open in the background on your devices, what I would like you to do, you can see down here in the corner, you can zoom in or zoom out. I'm just going to zoom out again there. Sorry, now that has... I'm going to have to stop sharing for a second. You all get to dance for a minute. Okay. Now, bear with me because it wouldn't be technology if there wasn't...
We can't see it yet.
Okay, no, don't worry. I'm just quickly fixing it in the background. There we go. Now you should have it back there. Excellent. Okay. So what we're going to get you guys to do is to actually add in your location on this world map. Okay. Now remember the little Mentimeter exercise earlier. So feel free to add in where you are now or where you would like to be. And the way we do this is up on the top right hand corner of your Padlet, there'll be a little kind of pink button. And if you hover over it, it'll say add post. So if I click on add post, then it'll come up, pick a location or search a location by name. So I'm in Galway, I'm in Salt Hill. So I'm just going to put up Salt Hill in Galway. And you can see it pops up there as a location. So when I click on Salt Hill, you'll see a little pin has dropped into where Salt Hill is. So I'm going to say hi from Aoife. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pump it up a little bit and I'm going to give you an image of where I am. So you'll see that on the top of the little Padlet board, there's a couple of different icons. Scroll over to the one that says Google. If I click on that, it'll open a set of Google images for me. And you can make sure that you have images up here in the top as well. Okay, and here's a nice one of the diving board. So I'm going to click on the diving board and there, hopefully, yes, there is my image from Salt Hill. Now, if you want to go in or out of the map, you can use the little plus to zoom in or the little minus to zoom out. I'm not going to do that because of what happened just a second ago. But feel free to start adding in your locations. Okay. Now, I can see some of them coming in already.
Yeah.
So I might just go in a little bit. Let's see where we are. There's Ballybuffet. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Very nice.
Oh, Ballybuffet looks great. Yeah, it does make it when you add a photo. So don't forget the photo side of things. Mullingar.
Oh, these are coming in really fast. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that, Killarney.
There's a lovely one from Dublin. Yeah, there's a lovely one from Dublin as well.
Oh, beautiful. There's Wicklow.
Oh.
Oh, lovely.
Turner's Cross, Cork. Oh yeah, Killarney's great.
Very nice. So again, you know, small sort of gentle, you know, kind of tasks, but you know, this is nice. It's a nice way to interact. Let's see, did anyone, there's someone. Someone wishes they were in Spain with a glass of wine in their hands.
I wonder who that might be.
There's one of our own students in France. Let's see. Oh, hidden Germany. Oh, lovely. So this is very nice. And you can move around in the world. I think most people are. Oh, lovely. We're stocking up on our holiday destinations now for our staycations.
Yep, the imagination is definitely flowing.
Gorgeous. There we go.
There's-
And as you can see, it all comes in real time. So it's kind of fun. It makes it a little bit more exciting, doesn't it? We can't travel around, but we can travel this way. Excellent.
Yeah, very nice. And if you've done one, why not do another if you want? And if you didn't put in a photo first time, try and put the photo with the Google icon this time. It's a lovely one for Wicklow.
Who's over here? Bahamas. Very nice. And just to let you know, this is a template that's available within Padlet. So as a tutor, if you were to set up an exercise like this, all you're doing is clicking on the template and the software does the rest of it for you. But the reward is really nice.
And you can even comment on people's posts as well, you know, clicking on the little speech bubble.
Yeah.
I love the one from Wellington, New Zealand. Hi from my brother's house. That's fantastic. Somebody did get down there.
There we are, look.
Yeah.
And someone is in Bora Bora. You reached your destination.
Terrific.
Excellent stuff.
Brilliant. Life goals. I hear you.
So I've just left a little comment on yours there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Okay. So I think if I stop sharing now, we can move on because we have another few things to get through. So I'm just going to click on that now. That'll bring you back down to Zoom.
Back down to earth.
Good stuff. So do we have another slide there, Alison?
I'll bring up my slide share now. Yeah. And
now someone has said Padlet. Padlet is still free to use, but you're limited to the amount of Padlet walls that you can use. So if you have the free version of Padlet, you can set up 3 Padlet walls. So what you'd be doing is you'd be constantly recycling them, you know. Okay.
Right. So just here, I'll just go back here. We're not going to go through the video or anything, but just to outline that ESOL Book Creator project, you might have seen some of the books on the map when you were there. This is sort of developed from a small discussion in class on a topic or theme. Resources were gathered, then there was writing and correcting and proofreading. Then it was created in a book format. Actually, this was done using Book Creator. And then with Book Creator, you can save as a video and then upload it onto YouTube. And certainly a lot of the students were delighted to show it to their families, as Patrick, who did the project. There's a video there which you can watch again, because I know we're short of time, but he will explain exactly how he did the project and how it came about. Oops, it's going to play. Hang on, I didn't want it to play. And then you've got the examples on the Padlet wall, and we've actually put a YouTube link in this chat for the ESOL site, so you can see all the books in video form, and feel free to use them in your classes, because you can create exercises out of them or set them as a flipped classroom, any type of activity like that. So we're going to now move on to our own activity, where we're going to get you into a Padlet room, in a breakout room, and each room will have a question. So notice the room that you're in when you go into your breakout room. It'll say it at the top, room 1, room 2, room 3, and so on. And
Hi, Alison. How did that go?
very good. Yeah, we've got some amazing GIFs coming in.
Great.
Pump up the volume.
Hi, Pat.
Ailish, you would love this now. I went, well, you'll see it in a minute.
Okay, great.
It features a cat, I have to say. This has been very well filled, this wall.
Hey, Fergus, how are things?
Pat, good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
You too.
Hello.
Hi,
We're
Aoife.
traveling back.
Okay, Aoife and Alison, do you want to start getting the feedback from the breakout rooms?
Right, we will. And I think we'll share the screen then, Aoife, again. And I don't know if anyone from room 1 would like to just synopsize what you said there in room 1. Who was in room 1? And who would like to speak from room 1?
I must say, I was watching everything come in and it has absolutely exploded. Look, this is,
Look
there's
at
so
that.
much.
Oh my goodness,
So-
room 1, you were super busy. Who was from room 1 then?
Hey, I was going to speak, but Kay, you're on mute.
Okay, unmute yourself.
Still on
Kay.
mute, Kay.
Yeah, unmute yourself and we'll hear what your feedback is. She's still on mute, I think. There you go,
Am I
Kay.
in now?
Yeah.
I couldn't find the screen to come back to unmute.
Okay, go take us through your wall, Kay.
Okay. We had a bit of tech issues in room 1. First of all, we didn't even introduce ourselves, but I know there was 2 Ks and a Paula. But somebody couldn't get the QR code. So when we did access it, we had a lot of words like confusing, technology, connecting, Wi-Fi, those sort of issues.
Yes.
So some of our pictures sort of even say that the first one is a bit, it's like a globe with all these different things coming out of it. Because that's the way things look at the moment. Everybody's trying to connect in different places, different devices, and it's very confusing and it's very stressful for everybody really. I think the next one says that it's like the laptops, the different devices. Paula's issue was the Wi-Fi, because Paula dropped in the middle of the thing, in the middle of the room. She was missing for a while. So that was kind of it. We had different, we didn't even introduce ourselves, but what we did do was play around with the little Padlet on our own devices. So we done a bit of learning for ourselves, in the sense that we were on phones and tablets and we emailed the wall to ourselves while we were in the room.
Very good.
So we found that we could actually like save what that was what it was. Could we save this, what we were talking about?
Yeah.
And so we actually, between 3 or 4 of us, we did find the thing and we emailed it to ourselves, and we could see it in big if we were on a laptop or whatever. So we sort of helped each other to maneuver through the different stages of it, which was great.
Yeah. Well, in fact, isn't that interesting that you had the live issues of what you were actually talking about in the first place? What did digital learning look like? And
Yes.
lots of dropped Wi-Fi, technical issues, but look what you produced, a marvelous end result. So
Yes.
wonderful.
And so much in there. And you've touched on something so important too, and that is the collaboration that's necessary in this kind of learning. You know, it can't be a solo thing. We have to get out there and support each other and support our students, as you saw from the slide on the learner's voice. You know, that's important, making that connection. So well done. Look,
And we
I'm
done that
still
between ourselves
scrolling and you're
as
still
well,
going.
helping each other to find the buttons on the devices that we were working on. We done that as we went through it. Like, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, there was lots of collaboration going on in the rooms I was in as well. Really good, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we move to room 2? Who was in room 2 who would like to speak about your wall? Who have we got?
We've all gone shy, all the room 2 people, I think.
Pat, were you in room 2, Pat?
I was, yeah, the lads were great. Took us a while to get used to kind of figuring out the technology, but we got there eventually, and everybody contributed, and I think that, you know, I suppose you need to have the discussion as well about answering the question, and I suppose the kind of, you know, what does it mean? I suppose you tend to get a little carried away with the posting up stuff. You might forget to do the task, of course.
Yes.
We kind of realised at the end we better define it. So yeah, look, we've text, we have images, we have a bit of video. you know, a song, even an empowering song in there. So
Oh,
well.
we're multimedia. So
excellent.
yeah, no, it was enjoyable, I have to say.
Oh, here's your song.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome.
And a link to a talk by J.K. Rowling. So, you know, I suppose what struck me about it was that you get so many different backgrounds and experiences. That people will bring something from different perspectives, and that's always good. Not everybody thinking the same and putting in, you know, having the same input. You're going to get different people coming in with different ideas, and different interests, and that makes for it really. You know, it really enhances it, like.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting experience. Yeah.
You can tell that you enjoyed that.
We did. We enjoyed it. Yeah, we did. And as we were enjoying it more, the more confident we were getting, of course. So that's all part of it, isn't it?
Well, that's it. You were empowerment in action. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Very well done. I really love that board, and the fact that you had the different perspectives in there adds to that, pumping up the volume that we're talking about, doesn't it? Because you get a broader view, a broader perspective. Well done. That's really, really good. These are legendary, I must say, this wall. Okay, thank you very much, Pat. That was very good. We'll move on to room 3 then. Who was in room 3 who would like to unmute themselves and feedback?
Well, I know I was sitting in room 3 with the guys, and there were some connectivity issues, and there was some getting used to Padlet. So what I said was I would just offer to give a small bit of feedback from the room. I know Rena had to leave us, and Marcia didn't want to come and give the feedback, but has contributed loads to the actual Padlet wall. So I suppose what we were talking about was really the frustration when you can't express yourself. And that was something that I think was to be noted, you know, that, you know, there's issues like connectivity, you know, there's issues like, you know, not knowing how to use the software, and that can lead to frustration. And here is one of the ones that we put up here. So it can lead to frustration when you want to express yourself, but there's still that kind of block. So we said it was a learning curve, very much, you know, to get used to the tools and to take it slowly and step by step. And so we said it would make learning more interesting eventually. And there's our little image for this.
Super.
Excellent.
Very good. So digital expression found its way on the wall. Even with a few difficulties, something is possible, isn't it? It's
absolutely
plenty of potential in expressing through Padlet wall. And just to echo what Pat said in the previous wall, you know, the enjoyment that we get out of Padlet is very palpable, you know, when we get used to the tools. So when we got used to the tools, we can really express ourselves well. Okay, I'm going to move on then to my colleagues in room 4. I had a lot of crack with my colleagues in room 4. Any one of you want to feedback? What does pump up the volume look like? And who wants to feedback on that one? Caroline, were you the speaker for that one?
To unmute myself here. Yeah, we don't seem to have the same volume as some of our colleagues have in the other rooms, but we did get a few pictures. Alison, I think our cat picture was the favorite, and it appears twice, I think, on her wall. If you scroll down further, you'll see it twice. So we kind of struggled at the start to find pictures that would suit, but we got there and they end up with a bit of help from yourself.
It was a most enjoyable collaboration, really, because everyone was working together on this wall. Everyone was contributing, and I love the way that, you know, we were even holding up phone screens to the Zoom camera so that we could see what we were doing, and you see how much easier that made it. Helping each other is a key part of.
Yeah, there was great teamwork in our group altogether. Yeah,
absolutely, it was very enjoyable. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on then to room 5. What does a culture of expression look like? Who's the speaker for that room? Would you like to unmute yourself and take it? Who have we got from room 5? A very exotic wall, I have to say.
That's a beautiful picture, isn't it? You know?
Yeah,
And I think it brings across everything, isn't it? It's that collaboration to actually create something, you know.
Who was in room 5 then? Anybody remember that they were in room 5 to feedback?
Well, not to worry. Let's move to room 6 because I can see some interesting things here.
Yeah, room 5, I must say, is just fabulous from the culture point of view. Really great, get great images there. But let's move to room 6 then. And who was in room 6 who would like to give a feedback?
I was there, unless somebody else wants to speak. I have a funny feeling they're going to ask me to do it. So I'm Liz, and hi. And so we introduced ourselves and had a little chat first, and then kind of started throwing out a few ideas, and then said, right, how can we show those ideas? One of colleagues in the group had problems accessing Padlet, so we tried to get the link to her so that she could get in, but her Wi-Fi wasn't very good either, so it was just a constant struggle for her. But for the rest of us, we came up, we said 5 years' time is not that far away, and we looked back at 5 years ago to see what had changed in the landscape in the last 5 years. And until last year, not an awful lot. It was all minor kind of localized things, and those things will continue to change, like what department you're part of or where your building is. But first of all, we said blended learning is definitely going to be a fixture and will be there for sure. There'll be bigger crises than coronavirus to deal with, whether it's another virus or climate change, or, you know, we were talking about flooding and food supply, and we're talking about all those things. But we're trying to think of a positive, and a positive is that if people are working remotely, then they will be possibly more rurally located, which could revitalize rural communities and maybe make cities less crowded. So that was one thing. And then we thought might even have equal pay for teachers by then.
Very good, excellent.
That was more. Unless someone else now has something else to add.
I love this.
Super. I mean, this was really an open book, wasn't it? You know, this was really open for you to investigate whatever you'd like to investigate. I mean, certainly we think that maybe VR and those types of learning are going to take off as well, and it's going to be more of an immersive experience. Though you're right, the conditions that we live in are going to be key, aren't they? You know, the climate change features very much on what you said there. Very, very good, Liz. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks very much. Okay. I think that's really good. Overall comments there, Aoife, on that?
No, I just think it's super, you know, it's just absolutely super, and it's great. And that's what you're doing. You're pumping up the volume at each stage. You're thinking about, you know, all of these questions. You're thinking about, what does digital learning look like? What does empowerment look like? What does expression look like? You know, and you're doing it from your perspective, but it's also a learner's perspective, you know, and all the things that were touched on there, things like connectivity issues, even the frustration, but then the empowerment. I mean, I love the cat. I love the GIF. You know?
Yeah.
So you can see it building slowly all the way through to a realization that this is part of the landscape that we're in now and the digital transformation that we're in. And, you know, we can have a little bit of fun along the way, you know, and we can encourage that expression, and we can encourage that culture of expression, and we can pump up the volume. But again, you know, it's small steps. Think big, act small.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Alison and Aoife. We have a few minutes left. If anyone has a question for Alison and Aoife, you can unmute yourself now and ask. No, that seems it then. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Alison, Aoife, or is that it?
No, just to say that when we send on the PowerPoint, there's a list of tools similar to Padlet that you can look at. And we've put also some links on a slide to not just the ESOL and the ABE YouTube channels, but also the TEL YouTube channel, which will show you how to use Padlet in a short video format. So if you ever wanted to set one of those up with your students, you'd feel confident enough to do it. So yeah, when you get the PowerPoint, you will be able to expand on what we've spoken about today and have a bit more background.
Right.
And just to let you know, the links to these Padlets will be in that PowerPoint as well. So feel free to click into the links, you know, and experiment with using the QR code to access them, because these will be here. So you'll be able to go back in and see the work that you've done today.
Okay, thanks very much to Aoife and Alison. A really fantastic range of tools and ideas which they demonstrated really well how to use. And yeah, I mean, I hope you participants enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the breakout rooms and networking with other tutors, and I hope you picked up a few ideas and a few tips that you can maybe try to start in your classes. As Alison and Aoife said, I'm going to send on the PowerPoint presentation to all of you with all the links involved. So thanks very much, Alison and Aoife. Thanks to my colleague Aoife for helping, and thanks everybody for joining in and contributing in the breakout rooms, etc. Bye.
Thanks for all the lovely comments. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.